There are quite a number of emerging technologies. And these emerging technologies in the recent age of artificial intelligence, there are so many that you can be able to use, but I will list around 7 that are able to facilitate people with disability in the context which they want to work in. For example, if you want to communicate and you want to recognize speech, you want to do speech recognition or transcription, you can log into Google and go to Google's Live Transcribe, and it's able to, as people talk, it's able to record to you and you can listen to that later. If someone is not able to see, for instance, he can be able to record sessions of for example, lecture that like the one that I have, and be able to use Google Live Transcribe to be able to listen to it later. There are also screen readers and text-to-speech. For example, the non-visual desk access. These are tools that are able to read characters that are on the screen and they're able to verbalize them. And that means you can be able to get any form of assistance from text-to-speech. It can be able to read for you anything that is written in text and be able to verbalize it, and you can be able to listen. These are able to bridge gap that we have in society. For example, someone who is not able to see, he can be able to use this kind of tools to get speech. And they can be used in business environments where people are able to get a description of a product in terms of a speech. We have assistive technologies for visual impairment. For example, Allcam My Eye. If you have problems with your eye and unable to differentiate colors and such, these kind of tools are able to assist you to do that quite easily. We have mobility and environmental controls, like for example, OpenSesame tools. And we have cognitive support. For example, this is supporting for people who have, for example, autism. People cannot be able to recall a lot of things. They can be able to use Cogito as their tool. One of the tools that I like so much, and I use it in many meetings, including this one, is what we call Otter AI. When you're in a meeting and you're not able to take notes, there are a lot of conversations going on. This tool, which I use and it's freely accessible, is able to do for you transcription and recording. It's able to caption every speech. Anyone who speaks, who gets into the meeting, can be able to get a live recording of their transcription, what they said. And then you can be able to convert that transcription in terms of speech, can be able to convert it in terms of writings or write-ups and such. There are others for people who have physical disability, like prosthetics and such, brain AI, prosthetic hands and such, that are coming up to assist people with different forms of physical disabilities. As we try to adopt technologies, technology disrupts our lives, especially for persons with a disability. Technology, as you try to acclimatize yourself with technology, there are natural stages that we undergo as we try to adopt into the cyberspace. So it starts with what we call honeymoon. When you get into new technologies, you have that excitement, you have curiosity, willingness to immerse in that new technology, knowing how to navigate around it. That's the stage that we call honeymoon. Then you get what we call cultural shock. And I'm saying these stages are the stages that you get when you get into cyberspace. You start getting anxiety, frustrations, homesick. Cyberbullies will come in. So as you try to get cultural shock, you start realizing that, oh, this tool is not able to do what I expected. Then there's adjustment. Gradually, the negative emotions are overcome, and the hopefulness, the willingness to learn, the new patterns of life. You get the cyber bullies that bullied you. Now you can be able to adjust and be able to constrain them. You are able to do parental controls, for example, if you're sharing the same technology with your kids and such. Then there is mastery. The mastery stage is where you become so comfortable. You can wake up in the morning, get to your WhatsApp, do status, do some updates, do some creation of social groups and such. And that is mastery. So as you go through the technology space, these are the 4 stages that one undergoes. And the question usually is, can I move from honeymoon to mastery? Yes, but of course, everyone will say that he has mastered, but before that mastery, there'll be a bit of cultural shock, realizing that there are limitations in this technology and such. Now, technology has new dimensions of intercultural communication. There are things that today we have that we do not have previously, and this is as a result of technology. I know all of us are able to use what we call emojis. And the question that we ask, are they universal? And how often do you use them? It's now interesting that we can represent happiness with a face. Someone is selling something online and someone is embarrassed or is confused and he puts a face. He is angry, he puts a face. These are new dimensions of intercultural communication. So these are forms of communication that technology has brought to us that are able to break some sort of cultural barriers. How often do we use them? Can they be misinterpreted? Do they cut across different cultures? As we try to engage ourselves in technologies, these are new dimensions that have come in. And these kind of emojis, as we use them, they can be interpreted differently. And people, for example, if you put a worried face, are you worried? Are you confused? Are you embarrassed? And these are things that are coming up in the social media dimensions. I now want to go to the challenges of technology in interactions. As we interact with technologies, we shall find some challenges, and these challenges are part of life. As we try to buy and sell goods with technology, especially for people with disabilities, this kind of challenges will be found, and we need to know how to navigate across or around them. Number one is lack of system security and how to enhance security. I'll discuss that in the next slides. There's the aspect of insufficient bandwidth and infrastructure. Most of us trade with our mobile phones, and therefore our phones might not have the sufficient bandwidth for us to be able to do what we need. There's also the lack of trust. And number one, in the unknowns on the other side of the transaction. We're transacting with people, for example, in different contexts and countries, and you have never met them. There's the lack of trust in the integrity of the transaction itself. You're trying to buy, sell goods, and at times it gets a bit slow, and you are no longer trusting that the transaction will go through.